David, this is probably right in your ballpark. I'm sure every year at convocation you probably give these words of wisdom to students anyway, but be very interested in, I know many of our 2 million CATA followers and friends would be interested, and beyond these borders, by the way. What do you tell the graduating university student to be successful and to be innovative and to embrace what they're about to embark on as they leave the university? And maybe add-on question to that, what do you say to those students, those enterprising entrepreneurs who are starting a business and you want to help them be successful? What would you tell them?
Well, Hart, the first thing is when I see a student on stage at convocation, I don't have a lot of time to make a speech and offer words of wisdom to compliment what their parents and direct mentors would have to say. I'll shake their hands and say congratulations and good luck. So let's get that out.
Here's your chance.
More seriously, we try to get across to students a sense that it is a very different world where they have to think about having multiple careers and living potentially in multiple countries. We're to a point where about 20% of our first year class is international, averaged across all programs and disciplines. Toronto region is already the most multicultural region in the world, and Canada has so many multicultural communities right across from east to west, this great nation of ours. So what one tries to convey is the opportunity that comes from diversity and convergence. And it is a very challenging time as well, because it's never been more competitive out there. Tremendous energy in Asia and South America. So we also tell them, you've got to be on top of your game. One of the things I get is that employers are focused on the so-called job-ready graduate, and obviously you want people who have skills. But the thing that's most important, I believe, to many employers, and that we try to convey as well, is, look, you can have your skills. They're only good for a while. You've got to keep learning and keep polishing them. You've got to keep adding to them. But the other thing is, how you think is the most important.
To be adaptive.
Right. You've got to be creative, adaptive, innovative. You've got to ask tough questions. So a lot of what we try to do is to get across to students a mode of thinking about problems, about the world, that will make them more successful individually and in teams as well, I should add. So those pieces of advice, I think, are evergreen for graduates. We talk about the T-shaped individual, right? They should have their skills and expertise, but boy, they need cultural fluency, global competence, a sense of risk-taking, ability to integrate, to crack problems by thinking originally. That cap on the T is so essential in addition to the skills that make them so-called job-ready graduates, in my view. For people who are interested in business, it's back to our earlier themes. Be both selective and unselective. Be selective about who you work with, because your friends and partners are critical to get going in this world. Be selective about the opportunities you seize, knowing that those decisions matter. But be unselective about getting out of your comfort zone. Don't just stay where you're comfortable. Be unselective about whether or not you're going to remain in Canada. Think about going somewhere else, getting some experience, spreading your wings. So it's that evergreen combination, I think, Hart, of, as in business, as in life, taking appropriate risks, doing it in the right company, and above all, doing it for the right causes. If you got the cause and the company right, it's pretty hard to go wrong in life.
Even if you scuff your knees occasionally.
Even if you scuff your knees. And of course, there's a wonderful segue perhaps to close out. Fear of failure is appropriate for risk mitigation in life. You don't want to take foolish risks. But on the other hand, if you don't occasionally scuff your knees, You're not
pushing
really,
hard
you're
enough.
not pushing hard
Yeah,
enough, you're not
yeah.
in the game, and we certainly have been fortunate here to have generations of students who are unafraid to scuff their knees, and I think that's a great Canadian trait. Canadians are willing to roll up their sleeves, are willing to scuff their knees. I am absolutely confident this will be an innovation nation of great impact in the years ahead.
That's fabulous. David, I want to ask you one question, if I may, and that's around what the university belief system is for give back, social give back. And I know I've read some of your papers, I've heard you speak about your belief of access to education and how important that is.
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about your and the university's philosophy around social enterprise and social give back.
Well, first off, we're seeing more and more outreach done by our students into the community, in the nonprofit sector. If we can get across the notion, well, they're here as students, that they can go make a difference in the world, that's a great thing. So in terms of experiential learning, you can go work in the field that you're going to spend your life exploring, or you can, again, further this idea of getting outside your comfort zone, go work with people who need your help or on a project that is completely different and have the growth experience that comes, as well as the growth in your soul of making a difference.
Sure.
So we're big on that. We also believe fervently that the mission of the university is to be accessible. I mean, we talk about accessible excellence, and I think this is something in common to the Canadian university system. It's a publicly focused system. We give countless millions of dollars back in student aid. Donors have supported the university to help make that possible. Hundreds of millions of dollars in our endowment is dedicated to scholarships and student aid. I can tell you that for students who receive Ontario student loans, on average the tuition they would pay here is about 48 cents on the dollar because of the bursaries and loan system between the province and the institution. And that's very much about the idea that the Canadian writers, potential employees who make a difference, and sewing that all together with some sense of social solidarity and trying to lift others along the way, particularly internationally, given how privileged we've been, which is, again, I think, back to the innovation nation concept. We spend a lot of time fussing in Canada about not being innovative enough, not successful enough, not prosperous enough. We're actually doing very well on a lot of these levels, and I hope that, in addition to the appropriate all-Canadian agonizing about our lack of sufficient innovation, we also spend time to think about the rest of the world and reach out to people elsewhere and help them improve their lot in life, because relatively speaking, all agonies aside, it's a privilege to be in this great country of ours.
Absolutely. David, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to connect up with you and to hear your thoughts on innovation in Canada. It is an important topic, and it's one that you're right, we shouldn't totally feel bad about. We're doing some great things, and I think you've charted some paths that we could improve on.
Thanks, Hart. It's always great to see you, my friend.
A pleasure.
Cheers.